Once upon a time, in the bustling streets of Oshodi Market in Lagos, Nigeria, there lived a market woman named Mama Adaeze. For 30 long years, she had been selling tomatoes from the same wooden stall, under the same faded blue tarpaulin that had weathered countless rainy seasons and scorching dry seasons. Every morning, without fail, Mama Adaeze would wake up at 4 a.m. while Lagos was still sleeping. The city would be dark and quiet, with only the distant sounds of early Okada riders and night security guards ending their shifts. She would wrap her faded Ankara wrapper around her waist, tie her headscarf with practiced efficiency, say a quiet prayer of gratitude, and make her way through the dark streets to the wholesale market in Mile 12. At Mile 12, while most of Lagos still slept, the real business of feeding the city was already in full swing. Trucks arrived from farms across Nigeria, from Jos, from Kano, from Enugu, loaded with fresh produce. Wholesalers shouted prices, market women bargained fiercely. Money changed hands rapidly in the dim light of kerosene lamps and early dawn. But Mama Adaeze moved through this chaos with calm purpose. She would carefully select the freshest, ripest tomatoes, feeling each one with her experienced hands, checking for firmness, examining the color, ensuring that only the best made it into her baskets. She had been doing this for so long that she could tell the quality of a tomato just by touching it, just by the way it felt in her palm. "Mama Adaeze, you too slow," other market women would complain as they grabbed basketfuls quickly, eager to get back to their stalls before the morning rush. "We need to rush back before traffic start." But Mama Adaeze would not be rushed. "My sisters, speed is not the same as efficiency. I choose slowly so I sell quickly. My customers know that every tomato from my stall is good quality. That is why they keep coming back." By 6 a.m., her stall at Oshodi Market would be ready. The tomatoes arranged in perfect pyramids, small ones at the front for those buying in small quantities, larger baskets at the back for bulk buyers. Everything was organized, everything was clean, everything was presented with care and pride. She would sweep the area around her stall, wipe down her wooden table, arrange her scale properly, and then sit on her small wooden stool, ready to serve the day's customers. But what made Mama Adaeze different from the other market women was not just her early hours or her careful selection of produce, it was her pricing. "Mama Adaeze, why you dey sell your tomatoes so cheap?" the other market women would ask, frustration clear in their voices. "See our own way we dey sell. Nobody won't buy because your price too low. You dey spoil market for all of us." Mama Adaeze would simply smile and continue serving her customers with the same gentle efficiency. "My sisters," she would say calmly, "I sell at the price that allows me to make small profit and allows my customers to feed their families. Is that not fair?" "Fair!" Another market woman, Mama Nyuzi, would practically shout. "Wetin concern us with fair? We dey here to make money, not to do charity. You think say na only you get children to feed. We all get family. We all get school fees to pay. But you dey here, they sell cheap like Father Christmas." "I know we all have responsibilities," Mama Adaeze would reply gently. "But there is enough for everyone. When I sell at fair price, my customers are happy. Happy customers come back. They bring their friends. In the long run, I sell more." Mama Ngozi would hiss loudly. Long run, we need money now, not long run philosophy." But Mama Adaze's response was always the same quiet smile and a simple phrase: "Trust the process, my sister. Trust the process." What frustrated the other market women even more was that Mama Adaeze would sometimes give tomatoes away completely free. A young mother with 3 children would come, counting her coins carefully, her face showing the stress of trying to stretch too little money across too many needs. "How much you get, my daughter?" Mama Adaeze would ask gently. "Only 200 naira, ma. But I need tomato, pepper, and onion to make stew for my children. My husband never bring money this week." The woman's voice would crack slightly, embarrassment and desperation mixed together. Mama Adaeze would fill a nylon bag with tomatoes, add some pepper, and hand it to the woman. "Take, my daughter, feed your children well. Hunger is not good for small children." "But ma, I never pay complete. The money no reach." "You paid with your honesty. You told me the truth about what you have. That is payment enough. When God blesses you and things better for you, you go come back. And maybe that day you go help another person too." The woman would leave with tears in her eyes, clutching the bag of tomatoes like precious treasure, whispering, "God bless you, ma," over and over. The other market woman would hiss in disapproval. "Mama Adaeze, you dey do Father Christmas? This na business no be church. If we all dey give free tomato, how we go survive?" But Mama Adaeze would simply continue with her business, never arguing, never defending herself aggressively, just quietly consistent in her ways. However, the most vocal critic of Mama Adaeze was not a market woman. It was Chief Okonkwo. Chief Okonkwo was a wealthy food distributor who owned 3 large warehouses in Lagos. He supplied tomatoes, peppers, and onions to hotels, restaurants, and supermarkets across the city. He had started small, yes, but through aggressive business tactics, undercutting competitors, buying up supply to create scarcity, charging premium prices, he had built what he considered an empire. He drove a big black SUV with tinted windows. He wore expensive agbadas made from the finest fabrics. He had 3 gold chains around his neck and a large gold watch on his wrist. Everyone knew Chief Okonkwo. Everyone feared Chief Okonkwo. And Chief Okonkwo hated what Mama Adaeze represented. Not because she was his competitor, she was too small for that, but because her very existence offended his business philosophy. She represented everything he had rejected on his climb to wealth: kindness, fair pricing, generosity, putting people before profit. One hot afternoon, Chief Okonkwo's driver brought him to Oshodi Market. He wanted to see what prices were like at street level. As his big SUV pulled up, music blaring, engine rumbling, people moved aside, children stared, market women whispered. Chief Okonkwo stepped out, his expensive shoes touching the dusty ground. He walked through the market like a king, his eyes scanning the stalls with contempt. Then he saw her, Mama Adaeze, sitting on her small wooden stool, arranging her tomatoes, serving a customer with a gentle smile. He stood in front of her stall, his large frame casting a shadow over her carefully arranged tomatoes. "So you are the woman they call Mama Adaeze," he said, his voice dripping with contempt. Mama Adaeze looked up from where she was serving a customer. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, her face lined with age and hard work. But her eyes were bright and kind. "Yes, sir. Good morning. You want to buy tomato?" Chief Okonkwo laughed, a big booming laugh that made other market people turn and look. "Buy tomato? From you? Why would a man like me buy from a poor market woman like you?" He picked up one of her tomatoes, examined it with exaggerated scrutiny, then dropped it back carelessly. "I deal in truckloads, not small baskets." He paused, looking down at her. "You know what your problem is?" Mama Adaeze said nothing, just waited patiently. "Your problem is that you have a poverty mindset. You sell cheap because you think small. You give away free tomatoes because you don't understand business. You wake up at 4 a.m. and work like a slave because you don't know how to work smart. He gestured at his expensive SUV. Me, I wake up at 8 a.m. I make phone calls from my air-conditioned office. I move thousands of baskets without touching a single one. That is business. That is intelligence. He leaned closer. You will die a poor market woman. Your children will be poor. Your grandchildren will be poor. Because you don't understand that business is about making money, not making friends. With that, he turned and walked away. The SUV drove off, leaving a cloud of dust and uncomfortable silence. The other market women looked at Mama Adaeze with pity, but she simply continued serving her customer with the same gentle smile. That night, a younger market woman asked, Mama Adaeze, why you no talk? Why you no defend yourself? Mama Adaeze smiled as she covered her tomatoes. My daughter, when dog bark at you, you no need to bark back. My work will speak for me. Years passed, 5 years, 10 years. Mama Adaeze continued her routine without change. Wake at 4 a.m., go to mile 12, select the best tomatoes, return to Oshodi, sell at fair prices, give to those who needed, serve everyone with respect. The other market women noticed something strange. Mama Adaeze always had customers. Even on slow days, her stall was always busy. People just like her because she cheap, they would say. But cheap business no day last. But Mama Adeze's business did last. In fact, it seemed to grow steadily. Meanwhile, Chief Okonkwo's business grew larger and more visible. He opened 2 more warehouses. He bought a bigger house in Lekki. He sent his only son Chukwudi to study business management at the University of Lagos. When Chukwudi graduated with honors, Chief Okonkwo gave him 1 million naira. My son, start your own business. Show me you have learned well. Make me proud. Chukwudi had big dreams. He didn't want to be like his father. He wanted something modern, something trendy. He decided to open a high-end restaurant, Heritage and Flavor, in Victoria Island. Fine dining with authentic Nigerian cuisine. Jollof rice for 5,000 naira. He rented a beautiful space, hired expensive interior designers, bought the finest equipment, hired trained chefs from culinary schools. Everything was perfect. Everything was expensive. Everything was designed to impress. Everything except the food. The grand opening was a disaster. The jollof rice was too dry. The egusi soup was tasteless. The fried rice was mushy. The pepper soup had no depth of flavor. Customers who had paid premium prices left disappointed. Food bloggers wrote brutal reviews. Expensive but not delicious. 5-star prices for 2-star food. Pretty presentation but no taste. Within a week, reservations started cancelling. Chukwudi was devastated. Why is the food not tasting good? I hired trained chefs. I bought the best equipment. The head chef, Femi, tried to explain. Sir, the problem is the ingredients. The tomatoes look good, but they have no flavor. When ingredients have no soul, the food has no soul. Then find better suppliers. The chef tried different suppliers, expensive organic ones, imported produce. Nothing worked. Everything looked beautiful but tasted ordinary. Meanwhile, the restaurant was bleeding money. Rent was enormous. Staff salaries were piling up. Customers were not returning. One evening, the restaurant's cleaner, Auntie Blessing, overheard Chukwudi and the chef arguing. Oga, excuse me, sir, I no want make trouble, but I hear say Ona dey find tomato way sweet well well. Yes, and you know where to find it? Auntie Blessing nodded. Yes, sir, there is one woman for Oshodi Market, Mama Adaeze. Her tomato na the sweetest for Lagos. Ask anybody, them go show you her stall. The chef scoffed. Oshodi Market. We cannot use common market tomatoes for high-end restaurant. But Chukwudi was desperate. At this point, I will try anything. Auntie Blessing, tomorrow morning take money, go to this Mama Adaeze and buy her tomatoes. The next morning, Auntie Blessing went to Oshodi Market and found Mama Adaeze's stall. Good morning, Ma. My ogre sent me. We need tomato for one restaurant for Victoria Island. Mama Adaeze smiled and began selecting tomatoes carefully. What is the name of this restaurant? Heritage and Flavor, Ma. Mama Adaeze paused for just a moment, a small smile crossing her face, then continued selecting the best tomatoes. That day, Chef Femi made pepper soup using Mama Adaeze's tomatoes. The difference was immediate. The soup had depth, it had soul. This is it. This is what we have been missing. From that day forward, Auntie Blessing went every morning to buy from Mama Adaeze. And slowly, Heritage and Flavor's food improved. Reviews started to change. The food is actually delicious now. Reservations started coming back. 3 months later, Chukwudi decided he should meet Mama Adaeze himself. He drove to Oshodi Market. There she was, a small woman in her 60s, wearing a simple wrapper, serving customers with a smile. He waited until she finished with her customer, then approached. Good morning, Ma. I am Chukwudi. I own Heritage and Flavor. Your tomatoes have saved my business. I don't know what you do differently, but they are the best I have found. Mama Adaeze smiled. I do nothing special, my son. I just choose carefully. I sell with honesty, that is all. Chukwudi looked at her simple stall. A business thought occurred to him. Ma, I have a proposal. Instead of selling here in this market, why don't you supply exclusively to me? I will pay you better than what you make here. You won't have to wake up at 4 a.m. anymore. Mama Adaeze listened patiently. That is a kind offer, my son, but I must say no. No? But Ma, I will pay you well, I know. But if I sell only to you, what will happen to the mother with 3 children who comes here every morning to buy tomato for her family? What will happen to all the people who have been buying from me for many years? Ma, with respect, that is not good business mindset. In business, you must think about profit, not sentiment. Mama Adaeze's smile didn't fade. My son, I have been in business for 30 years. I have learned something that maybe your business school did not teach you. What is that, Ma? True profit is not just the money in your pocket. True profit is also the goodwill you build, the trust people have in you, the blessings that come from serving others well. She paused. You want to know why my tomatoes taste better than others, even though I sell them cheaper? Chukwudi nodded. Because I choose them with love, because I handle them with care, because I pray over my business every morning, because I believe that what you give out comes back to you. Chukwudi didn't know what to say. Part of him wanted to dismiss this as superstition, but her tomatoes really were different. Ma, with all due respect, after 30 years you are still here in this small stall. If your philosophy truly worked, wouldn't you be more successful? Mama Adaeze nodded calmly. What do I have to show for 30 years? That is a fair question. She gestured around. You see this stall, you think this woman has nothing, but what you don't see is what truly matters. At that moment, a well-dressed young woman approached. Good morning, Mama Adaeze. Hey, Ngozi, my daughter. The woman turned to Chukwudi. Sir, do you know this woman? She put me through university. When my father died, Mama Adaeze paid my school fees every term until I graduated. Now I work at GT Bank. Everything I am, I owe to her. Chukwudi was stunned. An elderly man approached next. Mama Adaeze, I came to repay you. Remember when I was sick last month? You sent tomatoes to my house free for 2 weeks. Throughout the morning, person after person came. Some bought tomatoes. Many came to thank her for helping them in various ways. Finally, Chukwudi spoke quietly. Ma, you give so much away. How do you survive? How do you have money to help all these people? Mama Adaeze sat down. Let me tell you what I have to show for 30 years. When I started this business, I had nothing. My husband had just died. I had 5 children to feed. I borrowed 5,000 naira to buy my first basket of tomatoes. I made a decision from the beginning. I would sell with honesty, treat people with respect, and give thanks for whatever I made. The first 10 years were very hard. Some days I would make only enough to buy food for that day, but I never cheated anyone. Slowly, people began to trust me. They would come from far away because they knew I would treat them fairly. That trust brought more customers. More sales meant I could buy directly from farmers. After 15 years, I had saved enough to buy land in my village in Enugu. I planted tomatoes there. Chukwudi's eyes widened. You grow your own tomatoes? Yes. Some of the tomatoes you buy from me come from my farm. The freshest, sweetest ones, those are mine. Because I grow my own, I can sell at lower prices and still make good profit. After 20 years, my farm had grown. I was producing enough to supply other market women with quality produce. I became a wholesaler myself, though most people don't know this. I bought a house in my village. I send money home every month. I have put 15 children through school, 5 of my own and 10 from my extended family. My first son is a doctor in Abuja. My second daughter is a lawyer. My third son is an engineer. My fourth daughter is a pharmacist. My youngest is studying business, all trained with tomato money. Chukwudi felt his throat tighten. Ma, but why do you still sell here yourself? You could hire someone, you could retire. Mama Adaeze shook her head. This is not just about money. The blessing is not in what you accumulate. The blessing is in what you give, how you serve, the lives you touch. You asked what I have to show. I have 5 successful children. I have a community that respects me. I have customers who became family. I have the satisfaction of knowing my business has helped feed thousands of families over 30 years. She looked at him. Can you put a price on that, my son? Chukwudi sat in silence. Everything his father taught him about business seemed suddenly incomplete. At that moment, a voice boomed across the market. Mama Adaeze, a large man in expensive agbada, approached. It was Chief Okonkwo, Chukwudi's father. Chukwudi, what are you doing here? Father, I came to meet Mama Adaeze. She supplies tomatoes for my restaurant. Her tomatoes saved my business. Chief Okonkwo looked shocked. He stared at Mama Adaeze. You are still here, still selling tomatoes. Yes, Chief Okonkwo, I am still here. Chief Okonkwo shook his head. Mama Adaeze, I came to find you. I came to apologize. The market went quiet. Apologize, Chief, for what I said to you many years ago. I called you a poor market woman. I said you would die poor. I mocked your kindness. I was wrong. I was so very wrong. He gestured to people behind him carrying bags. Last week, my warehouse had a fire. Not big, but in that moment, I started thinking about my life. I have warehouses, money, a big house. But when the fire started, no one came because they cared about me. They came because I was paying them, and I thought about you, about all the lives you touched. I came to say you were right. I was wrong. You understood business better than I did. True business is about legacy. Your legacy is in the hearts of hundreds of people. What is my legacy? Buildings, money. But who will remember me when I am gone? Mama Adaeze stood and walked to him. Chief Okonkwo, it is never too late to change. You have resources. Imagine what you could do if you used them to lift others up as well. Chief Okonkwo nodded, tears in his eyes. I want to try, Mama. I brought these things for you. Mama Adaeze smiled. I do not need them, but I know people who do. Let us distribute them together. And they did. Right there in Oshodi Market, Chief Okonkwo worked alongside Mama Adaeze distributing food and supplies to those in need. Chukwudi watched his father with amazement. He had never seen this side of him. When finished, Chief Okonkwo turned to his son. Chukwudi, I taught you about profit and competition, but I did not teach you the most important thing. What, father? That the highest success is not in how much you take from the world, but how much you give to it. Businesses built on service are stronger than those built on greed. He turned to Mama Adaeze. Ma, would you mentor my son? Teach him how to build a business with heart and soul. Yes, but he must come here early, stand beside me, serve customers, learn by doing. Chukwudi nodded eagerly. I will be here tomorrow morning. For 6 months, Chukwudi came every morning at 6 a.m. He learned to select tomatoes, treat customers, build relationships, run a business with integrity. He learned that Mama Adaeze's poverty mindset was actually deepest wisdom, that fair prices built loyalty, that helping others created goodwill. His restaurant thrived. He changed how he ran it. He treated staff with respect. He paid fair wages. He sourced from small farmers. He started donating meals to a local school. Heritage and flavor became known not just for food, but for values. Chief Okonkwo also changed. He started supporting small farmers with fair contracts. He established a scholarship fund for children of farmers and market people. 2 years later, Mama Adaeze was invited to speak at University of Lagos School of Business. The lecture hall was packed. When I started selling tomatoes 30 years ago, she began, I had nothing but borrowed 5,000 naira and a decision to build my business on honesty, kindness, and service. I believed there is a different way, a way that brings not just wealth, but peace, not just profit, but purpose. You can have all the money in the world and still be poor in things that truly matter. Peace of mind, meaningful relationships, knowing you made the world better. The applause was thunderous. After the lecture, a young student stopped her. Ma, I am afraid that if I am too nice, too honest, I will fail. Mama Adaeze smiled. My daughter, honesty is not a weakness in business. It is a competitive advantage. When people trust you, they come back. When people respect you, they recommend you. In a world of cheating, the honest business shines like a light. People are hungry for businesses they can trust. Be that business, and never underestimate the power of blessing. When you serve people well, when you build with integrity, you attract blessings you cannot imagine. What you give out comes back multiplied. Today, Mama Adaeze still wakes at 4 a.m. She still stands in her stall at Oshodi Market under that faded blue tarpaulin. But she also owns a large farm in Enugu, employing over 50 people. She runs a foundation that has educated over 100 children. She consults for business groups teaching ethical practices. Her 5 children are all successful professionals running businesses with the same values she taught them. And Chief Okonkwo became her biggest advocate, often saying, "The wisest business person I ever met was a small woman selling tomatoes in Oshodi Market." The moral of this story is clear. True wealth is measured not only in money, but in lives touched, people helped, and legacy left. A business built on honesty, service, and kindness may grow slowly, but its roots go deep and its fruits last for generations. Mama Adaeze proved you don't need to compromise values to succeed. You don't need to cheat or oppress others to build wealth. Those qualities are not obstacles to success, they are the foundation of the deepest, most lasting success. The blessing of the honest business is not just in the money it makes, but in the peace it brings, the relationships it builds, and the good it spreads in the world. And that blessing, unlike money, never runs out, it only grows.